Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Angie, and I'll be your host on this episode of Mean Streets Canada, a video series where we focus on the meaner side of Canada, the criminals and crimes that make you question if Canadians are truly as polite as people believe. The story covers a 22-year-old man who woke up one morning and derailed the lives of many people forever. Today we discuss the case of Jesse Imeson, convicted murderer of 3 innocent people currently incarcerated but seeking parole. The story begins July 17, 2007, at a gay strip club in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Jesse, looking for work as an exotic dancer, or so his cover story appeared, met 25-year-old Carlos Rivera, a part-time bartender. They struck up a conversation and then spent most of the night drinking. Well, one thing led to the other, and they ended up going back to Imeson's rented room. An architecture student, Carlos had plans for his future, but those plans were dashed when Imeson claims he woke up to Rivera performing oral sex on him, and he lost control. Strangling Rivera with a belt and fleeing the scene north towards the town of Grand Bend, Ontario, it is believed he traveled along Lake Huron. Carlos would not be found until July 19th, and it wasn't long before Imeson realized police would be looking for him, so he ditched the car and broke into his shed, where he found a .22 caliber semi-automatic rifle and 200 rounds of ammunition. Lock up your guns, folks. Seriously. By July 22nd, he had made his way to the small hamlet of Mount Carmel, Ontario, where just outside the village limits on a farm lived the Riegers. In this house, Bill Rieger, 72, was born, raised, and would unfortunately die. Smashing his way into the house, Imeson ordered the elderly couple into the basement at gunpoint. He proceeded to cut the phone line and use the cord to tie Bill's wife, 73-year-old Helen. Her hands were tied in front of her. Grabbing a nearby clothes iron and removing the cord, he tied Bill. He proceeded to tie Bill to the joists and pipes of the roof of the basement, with his hands outstretched. Then, without provocation, Imeson shot Helen Riegers 4 times in front of her husband. The shots entered her shoulder, neck, chin, and chest, leaving her to bleed to death on the cold basement floor. He then turned the gun on Bill Riegers, who Imeson shot 3 times, once in the temple and 2 in the chest. Although clearly dead, Bill remained in a somewhat standing position due to his restraints, which is how he would have been found on July 23rd. Imeson stole the Riegers' truck, a gray GMC Sierra pickup truck, and fled, igniting a fierce manhunt and instilling fear amongst a community that typically was quiet and friendly. Imeson, described as a white, 6'1", 200 pounds, with short brown hair, brown eyes, and numerous tattoos on his arms, had everyone on the lookout. The manhunt persisted for 12 days and was even issued Canada-wide. John Walsh of America's Most Wanted also featured Imeson on the America's Most Wanted website. Rumors of him heading to the west began to swirl, as he was known to have friends in Whistler, BC, and Calgary, Alberta. This was proven not to be true when a resident of Portage de Fort, Quebec, spotted him watching TV in an unoccupied home and chased him into the woods. It wasn't until July 31st, when he was captured outside Portage de Fort, Quebec, near the Ontario border, his undoing was triggered by Imeson being captured on a remote-controlled trail camera a bear hunter had set up in the area, in which he tried to hide the Riegers' truck. Since 18, Imeson had been in trouble with the law. His prior offenses included robbery, possession of stolen goods, and petty crimes. Nothing in comparison to triple homicide. To prove the cold and heartlessness of Imeson, police had questioned him regarding the reasoning behind his actions. While in interrogation, he was questioned about the Riegers and responded, "What's to know?" Imeson later told detectives, "Shots were fired, people died." Imeson would later callously respond when an undercover officer asked about Rivera. "That gay guy? If I had to do it again, I would do it." The courtroom was somber, and sobs were clearly heard as the family of the three victims read their impact statements. The entire time, Imeson sneered from the prisoner's box, referring to Imeson as a demon and expressing how he had changed their lives forever. The loved ones stood one by one. Imeson made no statement, but his lawyer did read a very weak apology, which was denounced as hollow. The statement read, "I will be an old man before I'm released, if I ever am." The statement goes on to say, "I am truly sorry. Please forgive me." The defense had tried multiple tactics to pull heartstrings on the court, reminding them that Imeson was only 9 when he found his father, who had committed suicide, in addition to blaming the troubled youth homes in which he spent time due to his mother's inability to cope with him as he began his criminal enterprise. When Imeson stood in front of the court, he was only 23 years old. He pled guilty to terrorizing several communities and 3 counts of second-degree murder. Originally charged with first-degree murder in the deaths of the Riegers, he pled guilty for the lesser charge and was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 25 years. In addition, Imeson pled guilty to second-degree murder for the strangulation of Carlos Rivera, 25, in Windsor. Imeson was sentenced to 15 years without parole on this count. Sadly, the Riegers leave behind 6 children, 16 grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren. So many lives were shattered by the irrational actions taken by this demon. "It was sudden, violent, undeserved, and defenseless," stated the Riegers' daughter, Carol. Jesse Imeson remains incarcerated to this day. He did try for parole in 2019 and was rejected. This concludes the story of Jesse Imeson and the 3 lives that were taken in July 2007. I thank you for taking this journey with me today and appreciate you watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this, be sure to share, like, and subscribe, and leave me comments on any other Canadian crimes you'd like to see covered. Thank you. Have a great day.